one and only optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the folks over at Mattel, we're going to be taking a look at their new Masters of the Universe Origins Evil Lord of Destruction Skeletor. Now, a year ago at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, we got our first taste of their new Origins line. Now, a year ago at the 2019 San Diego Comic-Con, we got our first taste of their Origins line with that He-Man and Prince Adam 2-pack. Fast forward almost a year, and their new Origins line is about to drop. Exclusively available, at least I think for the rest of 2020 at Walmart stores. And then after that, at a full mass release, the tagline for this new series is Modern Posing Retro Play, which, if you remember that review of that SDCC set, basically it's taking that vintage look and updating it with new technology and articulation. For the package, very, very much like those original 80s figures. One thing that's interesting about this is, while I did call this the Origins line, that's not really printed anywhere on here, except for when you come to the back, it says Origins right there. So on the front, you don't have any of that. The only thing that really kind of gives it away is new for 20, which obviously 2020, you know. You got this really cool blister right here, gorgeous art in the back, very much like those original vintage toys. You got the little dimple right there, which is a great throwback. See Mattel's logo right down there. You can also see that they do come with some new mini comics, which is fun. Then you come around to the back of the package and you got the cross sell with all the other figures that are going to be coming out in this first wave. You have his little action features here that he holds his Havoc staff, and you can twist them into powerful battle positions. Oh, okay. Also does say up here that the nefarious overlord Skeletor wants to control the power within Grayskull. It also says modernizing and celebrating the original 80s Masters of the Universe action figures. Masters of the Universe Origins give you the power to pose Eternia's greatest warriors as retro-style figures, or in new action-packed battle positions. I cannot tell you how excited I am for this new line. But for the packaging on Skeletor, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Skeletor opened up and out of his packaging. And much like all of the new Origin figures, he does come with a new mini comic. It's not very long by any stretch of the imagination, but the art is really very well done on it. And while, yeah, it's fairly short, there's just something about getting a vintage-inspired figure coming with a mini comic again. I mean, yeah, we did get some with the Masters of the Universe Classics, but this feels right. You come around to the back, you got other figures that are going to be coming out in this first wave. Obviously, He-Man, Skeletor, Teela, Evil Lyn, Man-at-Arms, and of course, Beastman, which we will all be taking a look at here in the future. And then taking a look at the accessories for him, he does come with the half power sword. You can combine this with the other half, which will come with He-Man, to create the full power sword of sorts, which again is a throwback to the original comics. Skeletor never really walked around with a half of a sword, so you don't have to worry about that. But real nice detail. It's done in the purple plastic, very much like the rest of the figure. And then, of course, his Havoc staff, which does look really very nice. Coming in to take a closer look at that. The sculpt is phenomenal. The horns look really very good. The skull itself has a tremendous amount of great textural detail, and that looks really cool. You got the little rib section right there, and then all the way at the bottom here, of course, you got the little ball section. This is more iconic to what we would see Skeletor walking around with, and you can have him hold either of these. This has the little hook on there, so, well, not the little hook, the little hand section. You can put that in there, and it holds fairly well. And then, of course, let's be honest, most people are going to be using the Havoc staff with it. That holds really well in his hand to kind of fit that down there. It's a little bit shorter, but again, it's accurate. I mean, these are meant to, again, like I said, homage those original vintage figures with modern sort of things like articulation. So this is accurate to how it really should be. The figure itself, though, is outstanding. Again, you're standing at about the 5.5 inch mark. You can actually make him a little bit taller. In this sort of configuration, this is roughly how that vintage toy was, with the arms sort of bent like that, the knees kind of bent like that. But the really cool thing is you can now straighten out his legs, and you can get him standing considerably taller. I mean, you basically make him about a 6-inch action figure, which is really cool. So straightening out his leg, because poor old Skeletor has spent way too long in a crouch sort of position. Let's get his legs, and then you can straighten out his arms as well, which, again, absolutely terrific. The overall detail on this is wonderful. Body sculpting, all is gonna have some similar elements to what we saw with that He-Man in basically a lot of these figures. There's gonna be a few remolded parts, like these forearms are remolded from He-Man's, but the upper part of the arms are probably the same, the torso is probably the same, thighs are probably the same, the lower section here is probably different, but that's really about it. Obviously, he's got a new head. He's got this piece that rests or flips over, and then you can probably even, yeah, this can all remove, I'm sure. You can just detach it. Oh, yeah, you can take all this off easily. I mean, so when people complain about repaints of figures, toys have been doing it for years. It's nothing new by any stretch of the imagination. Companies have done it forever. Really very nice. I love the head sculpt on there. Now, for comparison, unfortunately, I never had, well, I shouldn't say never had, but I haven't had them in a very long time. But the vintage one has long since been gone. But here is that San Diego Comic-Con He-Man. Now, because I haven't reviewed the Origins He-Man, I want to use this one for a more direct comparison. You can see size-wise they fit beautifully, but this is what I was kind of talking about, that the arms up here at the upper part are the same, the lower arms are different, hands probably are the same, the torso is the same, the thighs are probably the same. That's really kind of about it. But I should say that you can pop these out fairly easily, so if you wanted to do some craziness, yeah, you could do all of that. I mean, like I said, all of these figures are going to make it so you can have a lot of these swappable parts. Not necessarily as a play feature, I feel, although, I mean, you can have some fun creating your own figures, but, and I don't know why he's dancing for some reason, but you can easily do that, and I feel it's more designed for the fact that a lot of these characters are going to use the same parts. And the other thing is that there's a new line of Masters of the Universe WWE figures that probably have a lot of this same kind of swappability. So you can kind of create your own wrestler and stuff with that too. So I guess you could say it's a play feature. I don't think it's necessarily intended to be one, but it is what it is. First articulation, you could definitely see you got two different ball sections right here. So you kind of have like a dumbbell joint right there with a ball section there and a ball section there. So you get a lot of range of motion with his head. It is a little bit loose, but that could just be my copy. But you do have that. It does rotate all very nicely. You have pin hinge joints here at the shoulder, so you can move in and out, forward and back. All sorts of articulation there. He does bend at the elbow, but then his rotation is also at the elbow. It's not at the bicep or anything, so it's all right down there. Wrists do rotate. They also hinge forward and back. Can rotate at his waist, and then you have those pin hinge joint. What are those ball joints? Oh, that's actually a ball joint. So you got a ball joint here at the hip for a nice range of motion. Also does allow for, well, a little, no, not even, that's a little bit of rotation, not much. But you have that main rotation down here at the knee going forward and back and then around. And then you can also rotate at the boot. Can the boot piece, the boot piece even comes off too. So you could swap all sorts of things. And then the ankles move forward and back, and then you have some ankle tilt, which is nice. You also do have peg holes in case you need any kind of stands for it. In general, though, I mean, like I said, I have not been excited for a new toy line in a long time. And yes, we've gotten these figures before, but it totally is an opportunity for someone like me who grew up with this to really relive that fun that Masters of the Universe had. Hopefully they do a ton more with this. Hopefully they expand this line just so that it gets ridiculous, because there are so many characters that they could do that I really feel it would be an injustice not to do all of them. Make every single Masters of the Universe figure that you can, Mattel. I can pretty much guarantee you I will buy them all. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you would do one very small thing for me, and that's simply just to hit that thumbs up button. That one very small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really very much appreciate it. Also, again, I want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Mattel for helping to make this review possible. The Origins line will be hitting Walmart stores exclusively for 2020 on August 1st. So if you're looking for them, good luck and happy hunting. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.